This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Wednesday, the 29th of May, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The government has revealed the Court of Appeal ruled unanimously on the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Act is valid and constitutional and does not breach the rights of public officers. Finance Minister Colin Imber, in a social media post yesterday, Tuesday, said the government can now move swiftly to improve and maximize revenue collection for the benefit of all citizens. In a unanimous decision delivered yesterday afternoon, a three-judge panel cleared the way for the state to continue the operationalization of the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, which is meant to replace both the Board of Inland Revenue, the Inland Revenue Division, and the Customs and Excise Division, CED. In dismissing the appeal brought by the Public Service Association, PSA, and Customs Officer Teresa Dorey, the panel comprising Justices Nolan Bureau, Charmaine Pemberton, and Miradina Moore said they could find no fault with the ruling of the High Court, Justice Westman James, who had dismissed the PSA and Dorey's claim in the High Court last November. They made an argument mounted that there were certain sections of the TTRA Act which were unconstitutional, and those sections sought to interfere with the terms and conditions of employment of public servants currently assigned to the IRD and CD. In response, PSA President Lira Batiste said despite yesterday's ruling of the Court of Appeal on the legality of the TT Revenue Authority, the union is prepared to move on the Privy Council on the matter to have their say. Canadian blogger and YouTuber Christopher Hugh Mustlis was arrested by police officers of the Special Investigation Unit SIU on Tuesday morning and is facing possible charges under the Anti-Gang Act and the Immigration Act. The Trinidad Express newspaper is reporting that senior law enforcement sources indicated just after 6 a.m. Tuesday, he was taken into custody by officers at a Flagstaff Long Circular home and questioned regarding several YouTube videos featuring interviews with different alleged gang members from Tunapuna, Mova, La Hawketa, Belmont, and Sealots. Hugh had visited the Canadian Embassy on Monday seeking assistance and was told to contact attorney Kristen Williams for advice. He was arrested based on the videos brandishing firearms under the Anti-Gang Act, a senior intelligence source told the newspaper, referring to several YouTube videos posted by Hugh over the past few weeks about Trinidadian gangs, which he was filming, where gangs were allegedly sending subliminal threats to other gangs in those videos. He was said to be technically promoting the gangs and the ability to show their firepower to the other sides. Under the Anti-Gang Act section, it states a person who knowingly counsels, gives instructions and guidance, finances in any manner, and otherwise provides support to counseling a gang leader, a gang member, or a gang in furtherance of its participation and involvement in the commission of gang-related activities commits an offense and is liable to conviction on indictment to imprisonment for 25 years. Senior police sources also said they have discovered that men claiming to be members of gangs who were state witnesses under protective custody in criminal cases appeared in some of the recordings that Hugh, also known as Chris Mustlis, has streamed. One of Hugh's attorneys contacted last night, and he told the Express newspaper, when we went to the police station, they told us he's not under arrest, but he cannot leave. Williams, the attorney, said that a police officer spoke to him and said they could not guarantee his release later today. Approximately 50 municipal police officers have been trained in the proper way to execute wrecking services starting today. The announcement was made yesterday by Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen, who said the towing of vehicles resumes today, the 29th, in the capital city, having been stopped during the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking to the media after the Port of Spain City Corporation's annual statutory meeting at City Hall, Allen said the 50 municipal officers went to a lecture on Monday hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Traffic Branch. He said city police will be working in collaboration with the TTPS in the wrecking exercises. Trinidad President of the National United Nations General Assembly, Dennis Francis, said the fourth International Conference on Small Island Developing States in Antigua offers a powerful once-in-a-lifetime platform for action under the Abbas Action Program. Francis said resources are needed not just for climate change and disasters, but for economies which have suffered because of hazards of nature. The senior UN official puts the financial loss to countries at $153 billion due to weather conditions, climate, and water-related hazards. Deputy political leader of the UNC, Dr. Rudal Monilat, claims there was never any move to cancel or delay the holding of internal elections in the UNC. The UNC officially launched a slate of candidates for the party's June 15th internal elections on Monday night. It was held at the Couva South Multipurpose Hall on Camden Road. Dr. Munilal said the internal elections was never in trouble of being held. In news of the region, Andre Worrell and Pedro Shepard will remain as acting president and general secretary of the Democratic Labour Party, respectively, for the next month. This was the ruling of Chief Justice Leslie Haynes Tuesday morning as he adjourned the matter brought to the High Court by veteran DLP member Ricardo Williams to allow the complainant time to file additional documents. Williams' attorney at law, Shamar Bovell, told reporters the court requested that a substantive case be held within 14 days. And finally, WhatsApp boss Will Cathcart hits back at claims from Elon Musk. The messaging app experts use the data every night. Posting on X, Mr. Cathcart said the allegations were simply not correct. He pointed to the fact that WhatsApp messages are end-to-end encrypted, which means they cannot be read by any company or the company at all. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning, and brought to you with the compliments of Genesco Appliances Limited nationwide.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Neighbors, on this Hump Day Wednesday, the 29th day of May. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, full cast in this morning. We just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Richard Ragoobarsingh, Wendell Stephen. We got Shane. We got Ruben in the mix. My name is Steve Khan. All right, quickly, taking a look what's happening on the highways and the byways. I thought the highway was pretty very light this morning. It is 26 degrees at Piarco, 27 at Crown Point. And I got nothing to tell you about. A little volume by Charlieville, by Trinidad City, and by Swim Call on Beetham is where you have some volume, but that's it. Seems to be a light day for traffic. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, pal. How art thou?
Good. Pretty good. And yourself?
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's a long weekend in Trinidad and Tobago. We have Corpus Christi and Indian Arrival Day. It was Thursday and Friday. Public holidays in Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago is sinking. I'll tell it that much. A lot of people heading across to Tobago. Let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning via Facebook and YouTube. We got DJ Ray in Delaware. We got Ray. Morning, Ray, out in West Palm Beach, Florida. We got Godzilla in Valencia, Boy Bedesi in Davie, Oliver Man Warren, John Keto, Wendy Ann James, Carol Guevara, D. Pierre, Sasha out in London, Gloria Gray, Rena Boodoo Jennings, Wayne B. in Covington, Georgia. Mrs. R is up already. Ian Lee, he is at Portsmouth, London. Morning, Ian. Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona. David Wares. Pearl Cordes. David, I'm still trying to figure out of that thing you asked me. Randy Kelly, Trinidad Margot, out in Florida. Wayne Ramsey, Hector, Evans David, Karen Yipnow, Kadeem Khan Jr. Good morning to you, Kadeem. Richard Duku, good morning. That's on Facebook and YouTube. On WhatsApp, we have Michael in London. We have Sankofa. We have David Nelson. Good morning. And let's see who we have. I did Michael. We have, let's see, David Nelson, GNC Auto Security, Dan Raj. We have Val. Good morning to you all on WhatsApp at 318-1021. And good morning to all those watching us on Me TV. Yep, as we are on television. For you to sit down and watch us sometimes. All right. So good morning to you, Wendell, Stephen.
Hi, morning, Paul. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. Forgive my nasal sound this morning. This dust is really, it's bad, and I don't have to tell you how I'm affected. One of my nostrils completely stopped up. So, but we're here. We're happy to be in the land of the living. Happy birthday to a few people. Ronnie Walcott, my godson. He's a media person also. Does sports. Shiris Castillo, Jason Bedo, who is my neighbor. Happy birthday, Jason. D'Souza Jackie, Michelle Pitt, Jackie Kunhau, well-known activist down in San Fernando. All right, happy birthday to you all celebrating birthdays today. And of course, yesterday was Cleavon Raphael's birthday.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, belated birthday greetings, Cleavon. And for those celebrating birthdays over the next few days, 4 days before you see or hear from us. Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, happy Indian Arrival Day. And of course, the Corpus Christi holiday is coming up next 2 days. All right. What are we? Trinidad is a really blessed place, you know.
Yeah. Well,
We really blessed, you know. Despite all the craziness, we blessed, you know, with holidays.
Good morning, Wendell. I don't think Chris Hugh saying that this morning. Huh?
Yeah. He's
not. I don't understand. What is he being detained for?
Well,
let's see. I have it here.
He's being detained on potential possible charges under the Anti-Gang and Immigration Acts. Of course, he's been releasing quite a number of videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I was wondering about them.
Purportedly showing gang members.
Mm-hmm.
In some instances, if I'm not mistaken, what look like high-powered weapons.
Yes.
Right? Videos brandishing firearms.
And
according to
the threats.
And people making threats.
Yes.
According to the Trinidad Express and their reporting, that he was arrested at Flagstaff.
Mm-hmm.
And under the potential for charges being laid under the Anti-Gang Act, because under the Anti-Gang Act, Section 8 states, a person who knowingly counsels, B, gives instructions or guidance to, C, finances in any manner, D, otherwise provides support to, counseling a gang leader, gang member, or gang in furtherance of its participation or involvement in the commission of gang-related activity commits an offense and is liable on conviction or indictment to imprisonment for 25 years. The police sources have said, this is what the Express is reporting, they've discovered that men claiming to members of gangs who were state witnesses, so police will know that, and under protective custody in criminal cases appeared in some of the recordings. They also said that they conferred with the DPP Roger Gaspard on possible charges, because if the men were passing on threats to opposing sides, then he may fall into that category. But the act is very clear. The act says knowingly. So I guess that's what the interviewing of him is about.
It just doesn't sit right with me. His videos didn't sit right with me. I have to tell you that, because I spoke about it here on radio. You understand? But I don't know that he should be.
Well, also the immigration act, because if he's here on a holiday and he's working,
okay.
If he's on a visitor's visas and he's working, that's a breach, right?
Yeah, but I tape when
let me tell you what's going to happen here.
Everybody tapes when they go abroad.
Well, no, taping, if it's your job and you're taping for a work commercial enterprise, is different.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taping for a show that you're working for, you're working. You understand?
Well, I just tape for all, yeah?
Well, then you have to watch yourself when you go abroad.
Well, yeah. Because it just sounds a little.
Here's what's going to happen here. They're going to get challenged on the issue of journalism.
Yes, freedom of press.
Freedom of press.
Uh-huh.
Because he's doing what some may consider journalistic work.
Yes.
And you have to identify if he knew they were sending messages to other gangs or threats.
Yeah.
You understand?
Because he is broadcasting them live on camera at the time. He wouldn't know what they would say.
Well, we wouldn't know, and the police will interview him and find out whether he knows they could have told him before. You understand? So they have to make sure they know if he knowingly counsels, gives instructions or guidance, finances, or otherwise provides support. The key word there is knowingly.
Yeah. Well, look, he had to be real stupid, and as using the word stupid, to tell the police, the TTPS, that, the fellas and them tell me what they were doing before, and I say, come, let's go on camera with it. He had to be real stupid to say so.
Yeah. and they're going to get challenged on obstructing a journalist, a video journalist. He calls himself a blogger, but I'm sure some people will say he's doing journalistic work. You understand?
I think the TTPS is just embarrassed by what he was able to expose.
All that is going to come up.
They're just embarrassed by what he was exposing. Right. And they have a right to be. Because if he could come and go up in these videos...
saying there's a photo of him in The Guardian with a gun in his hand. But if he's handling weapons that are illegal weapons, that's a whole different thing, eh?
That's a whole different story.
Yeah, he asking for trouble.
Oh, yes.
He asking for trouble. He has a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see
that. I only see the Guardian for the morning Guardian headlines. I didn't see no gun. Well, he asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Let me see the Guardian picture. The Guardian picture.
I might get exclusive video here. Somebody said I have a video of him talking to his lawyer.
Christian is his lawyer, right?
They tell me to shit now. Huh.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. If he's holding an illegal gun, will he put himself in that?
That's a different story.
That's a different thing. You understand?
Well, he could say it's not him.
Huh?
He could say it's not him, and people say it's not them.
It's an AI generated person.
And people say it's not their relatives who's holding gun.
Or it's not them in room 222.
Yes, people say that too.
Yeah.
If he is holding a gun among purported gang members, and the gun is, and he can't prove that he has the legal the authority to hold a firearm in this country, he's in some trouble.
So let us get this straight, right? The TTPS, based on the reports, have detained Christmas List, or that's the name he goes by, right? Christmas List.
Mm-hmm.
They detained him in connection with what he was filming with gangs and so, and they ain't holding on any gang people. Country is a joke, come on.
Wendell.
Oh, God. The man filmed all kind of people with gun pointing down in the beat and saying.
To be fair, part of the article said that some of the persons were state witnesses. That's why the police knew they were gang members. To be fair, so those persons would have been under the radar of the police and probably helping the state in cases. But you're right, the other people who they say gang members, some Tuna Puna, Mova, La Hocketa, Belmont, and the Sealots.
Yeah.
So you hold them, and you hold them.
And you hold them.
It had a video, one of the videos I saw, the man pointing down in the beatum and saying that they from the Labas. He called a name, short for the head of state. He called a name and say he can't come out there, he can't come out, he can't do it, they go kill him and all kind of threats was issued on that video I saw. This place jokey, you know. We jokey, you know. We just overdo it now sometimes, you know.
Meanwhile, while the whole Chris, we also had some confusion, but people didn't understand what was going on. Yesterday. They had a drill in front of the Red House yesterday.
Woodford Square.
The ODP
That's actually in front of the city.
Woodford Square, same thing.
Yeah. It's directly in front of the city hall, eh?
Or it's on that side?
Yeah, that's directly in front of the city hall. You see where the parking spaces for the mayor and councillors there?
So, the ODPM did say that between Tuesday and Wednesday morning that they'd be doing some emergency drills, eh? But not everyone knew. And then this video, somebody put it on the phone and sent it all over the world. And people started to panic like if somebody taking over Trinidad and Tobago and the police are kicking in Port of Spain. And people, calm
The
down.
time I saw it, I knew it was a skit. I messaged one of the counselors. I said, because it came in a group chat that I was in. I said, this is a skit, isn't it? Yeah, we're having a thing because he was right there.
Well, the way the man ran into the police, he looked like he would need Richard Ragoobarsingh acting training too.
Yeah.
The acting was a little loud.
School of acting.
Yeah, they're all police officers, I would imagine. You ever see a man drop down so?
They need some acting lessons.
Yeah. But it was meant for the mayor and the councillors who were sitting right there under that tent.
But it was for them?
Yeah? Yeah, it was a skit, man. It was so.
It went so viral yesterday, and of course, people putting all kind of wrong context state, you know. People calling from the US, what's going on in Trinidad, and all kind of craziness. No, it was a simulation.
Yeah.
That's what it was. An emergency response simulation. Where is this now?
That was the kidnapped victim.
Were they real feedy?
Is that now a woman?
Was it a woman?
I think so.
Man.
Well, they real feed the person.
They feed all of them. Look at that. Look at that gunman there. He need to run around Woodford Square. Every morning he report for work. He should be running.
Maybe the man like doubles.
Maybe Steve can.
Maybe.
I had to correct a lot of people who also were chatting on it and saying, no, it's a skit. You know, because from the time I saw it, it was kind of obvious. And then we would have, as a member of council too, we would have had situations like that displayed with displays and so on from the city police before. So it was kind of obvious to me.
I mean, I might saw it and somebody sent it to me and said, "This is a simulation."
Yeah,
this is a simulation. That is clearly a simulation. But then we reported that there were going to be drills in Port of Spain by the Grand Bazaar also.
Yes, that's for the earthquake.
Some other place in the east. So
Santa Cruz and somewhere else.
But of course, people. So social media get excited for everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, at least
the city thing. Christmas. This is a blogger, not a journalist. Beauty culture. These days, some people don't make a distinction.
True. Remember we had a situation like that already, where
bloggers end up in
postcard,
in press cab and postcard, you know.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I know that you could make a distinction now, and people who doing journalistic work didn't end up in it.
True. And
okay.
people attack the blogger at the time,
and the blogger end up in the postcard and
yes.
the COVID briefings. So
yes, that is
not a distinction these days. It depends on who in charge of the thing.
Oh, exactly.
You understand? It depends
on
who in charge.
We had a whole furor here one time during COVID.
Not all bloggers are created equal. That's all. It depends on who you know.
Some bloggers just win lotto easy.
So it's 6:24 on Wednesday morning, right? Full stop. New thought, new sentence. Minister of Finance called Imber. Is there anybody full stop, right?
Yes.
Right.
You don't want to tie in too.
No, I didn't want to tie them in.
All right.
And I wanted to stay far from tying them in. You know, anyway, Minister of Finance called Imber tweeted yesterday and that he was very happy that the Court of Appeal ruled unanimously that the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Act is valid and constitutional and does not breach the rights of public officer. He said the government can now move swiftly to impose and maximize revenue collection for the benefit of all citizens. I just hope the Treasury Division have the thing in order, so when they send in information to the Auditor General with this now, they could be right.
Yeah.
Make
But
the $4 billion mistake.
Tell me this, Paul. The fact that the PSA has signaled an intention to go to the Privy Council, does that mean that they can still go ahead or they'll have to hold?
Signal intention is not go ahead. They have to formally engage the move.
Right.
You could say you're going to do anything and you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So until, I guess, there is a formal indication that the matter is before the Privy Council for consideration, the minister will go ahead.
Okay.
Because the appeal court has given the ruling, you know?
Right.
So it's up to the PSA now, because PSA President Leroy Batiste said, despite yesterday's ruling of the Court of Appeal on the legality of the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, the union is prepared to move to the Privy Council on the matter to have their say, but they have to do it.
Yeah.
You can't say you're going to do it, you have to do it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And until they actually do it, the minister is free to move ahead.
I wasn't sure the procedure.
Yeah.
If it is that they can file an injunction to stop it until they go to the Privy Council.
No.
They can't.
The Privy Council rule already. You can try to file an injunction, but I don't see how it will stand.
We'll see where that goes. I want to raise something that is a little sensitive, and it may rub some people the wrong way, but I'm going to raise it anyway because it is something that happened before, and it's quite possible it may have happened again.
Someone is saying the PSA can apply for a stay of the order.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I use the word injunction, but which is the same thing. Yeah. The issue of the couple that drove into the sea, where it was reported that they might have had an altercation, some sort of quarrel before, right? And I'm thinking, because I know that there was an incident like this before, where a couple would drive in, and the woman at that time, and the man was driving, and the woman at that time pulled the steering, grabbed on the steering and pulled it, and they ended up in an accident and perished. That happened right in Trinidad here, not too long ago. And it just occurred to me, and I mean, there are no witnesses to this, so you can't say that this is what happened. I'm not saying that this is what happened in this case, but it just brought me back to that particular incident when that happened with another couple. You understand? So couples, people argue. Couples argue all the time, right? You know what? And especially when you're driving, pull aside. Pull aside, talk, calm yourself down.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
How is that connected to Shagamas?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. I was saying that I don't know if this is the case because there are no witnesses. There's no evidence to suggest that that's what happened. But the reports came that they were in a quarrel prior to driving off. I don't know if you saw that.
And I'm seeing all sorts of conjecture online.
Mm-hmm.
But she pulled the steering wheel, and she do this, and he do that. None of which anyone could prove.
I haven't seen that, And
I'm
on
saying people could get to conjecture quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
No, we don't know. But I'm giving general advice. I'm using the opportunity to give general advice. But when
you're giving general advice, and you reference that, people are going to put it together.
I actually reference another matter that actually happened.
Yes, but when you reference a matter like that in conjunction with what happened in Shagaramas, people are going to think that they're connected, and we don't know.
I did say I know that it's a sensitive matter, and I know that not everybody will be pleased.
I see people posting all kind of thing, and they said this and this, she pulled this steering. We don't know.
Yeah,
you'll never know.
Have no idea.
No, you'll never know.
We just know that we send condolences to the families who've lost 2 people.
Yeah,
that's all. Jeez, when I saw that, I said, people could be ridiculous, eh?
Yeah.
No, but I didn't see what you see, what you saw,
When
Too
you bring
young
it up, when you bring it up in conjunction with the real case that you said happened,
Yeah.
it seems that that a connection is being made, and we don't know that is what happened.
Well, as I say,
We don't know.
yeah.
Well, let's gentlemen, let's open up our telephone lines for you to call in. It's 6:30, exactly 6:30, 222-8255, toll free North Americans.
Thank you, Steve, for remembering.
525-1099. Let's open up our lines a little bit. It is Wednesday. It is the day before double public holiday. Love it.
Morning, Captain Ron. I'll be messaging you today. Look out for a message from me today. I got your number from Steve, and I'll be messaging you today.
Yeah. Of course, the pet butler will be open for both days from 9 a.m.
Yes, David West. I'm a judge and a show boy.
Yeah, I saw you. Is you Heathcliff West and somebody else I saw?
The judges rotate.
Yeah. All right. We have some calls coming through. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I find it quite interesting, the whole issue with Christmas. And not just him, there are a number of other bloggers. You can go up on YouTube and you can see who went through the different areas you can possibly label as hotspot areas.
Mm-hmm.
And they are interacting with members who are labeled to be in gangs. You know what is interesting about this whole issue is that if, first to begin with, how does state witness in terms of high-profile cases, we have to assume some might be high-profile given that you're coming out of a gang, how are you not in state protection?
Well, you can be, or you can choose to be, or you can choose not to be.
You know what, caller?
You can choose not to be.
Caller, I'm glad you raised that, because by the TTPS saying that they're putting a lot of them guys at risk on their own neighborhood.
And that is what I wanted to point out to you.
Yeah.
I wanted to point that out to you because what you are doing now, you are putting these individuals at risk. That is what you are doing. You are opening up the window to put these individuals at risk. And in terms of trying to say this information now, they're sort of trying to create something. So perhaps some of those cases, God forbid, that any one of them are killed. Perhaps that will be the end of that.
Yeah.
I want to also point out something with the issue with Christmas. Can it not be that if Christmas and all these other individuals who are traveling, not just in Trinidad, they are going to South Africa, Brazil, and all other hotspot areas, and they are interacting with these criminals, is it that our TTPS is so dwarf that we cannot train some persons to go undercover in these areas and gather intelligence? We
don't know that they're not doing that.
Well, I'm coming to point out to you now, if we have 101 gangs in this country, Dr. Paul, one would assume that we would have a number of leaders who are in these gangs at charge. And you will know, because you raised it in the Senate, that the anti-gang legislation is basically ineffective. There are minute amount of persons who are before the courts who should be charged under the anti-gang legislation. And if you want a piece of legislation to be effective, you have to utilize the legislation. And you quote some things there from the legislation this morning that I find, of course it is there. I don't know if the people in the TTPS, they need attorneys or they need people to help them or guide them in terms of understanding the law. And I think that is somewhat seems to be the problem, because I want to tell you, Christmas will not be, and I want to put it out here, will not be the last individual to go to these hotspot areas and interact with persons who perceive to be gang members. So I just want to put...
But we have a local journalist who does it.
Yeah, we have some people locally who does it as well.
Yeah.
And it is something we have to look at. And
remember
That. Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
What's the name of the journalist? Is it Hughes? Christopher Hughes.
Christopher Hughes.
Right. Who you were talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Concerning the health questioning or something like that.
Yeah.
He's been detained.
But I watched some of his videos. I just wanted to say this, and I don't know if you all mentioned it because I came out of the car, but I watched some of his videos, and I was wondering, rather than detaining Mr. Hugh, or Hughes, I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
Why are they not arresting the people who in the damn video?
I said it. I asked that same question, Richard.
I said it earlier. You see, arrested you, but
when I saw some of the videos, when I saw some of the videos and some people showed me some of the videos, I said, so these people are arrested? And they told me no. So I said, wait. Because it's obvious seeming criminality, and I get the point that somebody could have something that looks like a gun but may not be a gun. You know, I'm talking from my evidential point of view.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like,
if you're arresting him for alleged collaboration with gangs under the act, why aren't the people in the video with him?
Exactly.
I tell you, this country, we are a joke sometimes. We are a joke.
Exactly. And I agree with you, Paul. Freedom of the press is probably going to trump everything there.
Yeah, that's going to come up.
Because it's a constitutional protection. It's a constitutional protection. And so once you say, well, look, I was doing this as an agent of the press, or from a journalistic point of view, the Constitution gives you a certain ambit.
Yep.
So so the question would be, are you outside the remit of that ambit?
Or have you crossed the line?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is always a tricky question.
Criminals are very often, I mean, not always, are very often going to lean toward, because that's part of seemingly their love being in a gang these days, being able to brandish and show off, and because it's an international blogger and they're going to get to Ranza themselves. You understand?
Yeah. They're going to be seen all over the world.
So exactly. So you're on a very popular blog and it's millions of views, and you know, we will see.
I just got a YouTube video that I sent for you guys, where apparently he was already arrested in Africa also for throwing money on people's. I didn't open the entire thing, but I just sent it for you.
Right. Good morning, caller.
Anything to make news, yes?
Well, all this helps is Burm.
I'm sure this is already outside the country.
I'd say all of this helps is brand.
And Hugh, Christmas is just going to raise his brand even more.
Yeah, it is out because I got a WhatsApp from a buddy of mine in Toronto. I didn't even know. Sending me the video. Yeah. So good morning.
Morning,
Mr. Patrick.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Ragoobarsingh, morning.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Well, I want to ask a question. I say something. Record will be resuming today in Port of Spain, right?
Yes.
Don't ask me nothing about record now.
Yes, there would be, Mr. Patrick.
Right. I want to find out about how much records the city corporation having done.
The city corporation has 2 records.
They own 2 records.
But I'm sure they're going to contract other 2 companies.
Because I was having a discussion. If a record come to wreck up your car indiscriminately, and the police, it has certain places, I think, I was watching that in the States about, it have supervisors. You could call them, right?
Not that I know of. But if your
vehicle
is damaged, you have to make a report to the city police.
So if they wreck your car and the bumper fall out and the transmission get mashed up along and thing,
you have to make a report. You have to make a report to the city police.
Mr. Patrick, do me a favor now. Just don't go and park anyway that put your car at risk of being wrecked. Let's do that. Because it's going to get out of hand and
it's going to get out of hand. It is going to be a hustle.
And you're going to be frustrated. So just don't park anyway.
It's silly to bring it back. Yeah, it's stupid. The issue of wrecking in the city of Port of Spain is if, for example, you're blocking somebody's gate, they should have a number to call. If you're blocking a hydrant, there should be a number to call. That's how it should be handled.
And one more point. When Gary Griffith was commissioner of police, I believe when Gary see these kind of pictures of people with police with gun and things, I used to go and look for them.
Or you going on to something else now? You going on to the Christmas list thing?
Yeah.
We've seen some videos with him going after.
So Mr. Patrick, That is not going to happen again either. Move on now.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Patrick. I have a lot of calls coming through. Good. Good morning.
We thought wrecking in the city of Port of Spain was going to happen again either, Wendell.
No, I knew that was coming.
And
I
it's
knew it
back.
was coming back. It too much money, and I listened to the mayor yesterday, finally admitting that, saying that the mandate of the prime minister is to put in the parking meters, and they are going to move swiftly towards doing that. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'll wait too. Good morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning. I don't think much of I don't think much will come out in terms of charges with the blogger Chris, right? But what I want to emphasize is that we're talking about gathering intelligence, and there's different avenues in which intelligence can be gathered, right? And I'm certain that his videos, I'm certain that the police would have gathered certain information by looking and identifying individuals. What Senator Richards indicated, whereby some persons were state witnesses, and I saw I heard one of your callers indicate that they should be in protected custody and they put persons at risk. People have a choice, even though they are state witnesses, whether to be in protective custody or they choose to be in the open as indicated early on, right? But I just want to emphasize that, intelligence, here's information there, just one form of intelligence that the police can use. And maybe the public should be edified by the police themselves. Obviously, police won't indicate everything because you'll be showing your tactics and your approach to the persons whom you are possibly targeted, right? But I don't think anything much will come out of this incident with Chris.
No, it just makes his page a lot more popular. That's all.
That's it.
Let's congratulate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's congratulate sportscaster Robert Dumas, who is the new chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society.
Yeah, man. Robert responded to my congratulations yesterday.
And
Morning, Robert. Congratulations.
He takes over the chair of the Cancer Society from Dr. Santi LeBlanc.
I sent it to him accidentally.
He's now a director.
I sent it to him accidentally, Paul, with your comment, and I had to delete it.
My comment? I'm sure it's my comment.
Well, I don't know if it was your comment, but the comment that was at the bottom
The
of
comment was attached to it?
Yeah. I had to go and fast and remove it,
Okay.
Morning, Charmaine from New York. I have mugs for you all. Charmaine was in the country over the last few days. She's left. She's back in New York now. But she left some train mugs, some coffee mugs for you guys, and a gift for AV. I have it. I'll drop it by the studio today. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So you each have a coffee mug, courtesy Charmaine and AV, and I have a gift for AV, okay?
No, note to the wise, don't speak out against...
Don't speak out.
Don't speak out. Just say don't speak out.
Don't speak out, no.
Okay. I hear you. All right, gentlemen, let's get the headlines of our newspapers, shall we?
Let me say good morning to Mrs. R.
Before you know it wouldn't be chairman no more.
You understand? Oh, if that's what you're talking about.
You didn't figure that out, Richard?
Repercussions for having your opinion aired.
Or voicing your opinion out loud.
Yeah. But it was on the Pub Breakfast show and publicly too. And other media, so.
Yeah. You can have an opinion, don't voice it.
When you're in a small island,
Mm-hmm.
you understand.
Well, there are some people who have voiced opinions over the years and still get through, eh? And there's some others who haven't.
Go Paul Lock and Blalock.
Yeah. It depends, Wendell.
True, it depends.
Depends on what you're talking about. What you're talking about.
It depends.
Yeah. Anyway, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. Let me start with the headlines. I do have papers today. Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. Of course, it's a holiday tomorrow and Friday. So happy Indian Arrival Day, and of course, happy Corpus Christi to to the Christian community, and particularly Catholics, who are the largest Christian group in the country and the most powerful. Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today.
Well, you have a kingdom?
We have a country. Victory for Colm. TNT Revenue Authority gets legal green light. Court rules no breach of public servants' rights. PSA now plans to go to Privy Council. McKellar says she's not in coalition talks with Parry. And farewell miss, St. Augustine Girls High School students hold a portrait of school former principal Dr. Anna Mahiz after her funeral service at the Aramalaya Presbyterian Church in Tunapuna yesterday. Of course, Dr. Anna Mahiz was an icon of SAGs. I mean, so generations of SAGs girls were under her under her remit as principal. Sex abuse whistleblower blocked from children's home. And on the back page, Impact's promise safe World Cup. And Boston Celtics forward, or the main pictures of Boston Celtics forward, Jason Tatum, drives to the basket over Indiana Pacers center Miles Turner. So that's it for the front and the back of the Guardian. The Daily Express for today. What did they go with? Court of Appeal rules TNT Revenue Authority lawful. Victory for Colm. Finance Minister, we can now move swiftly to improve and maximize revenue collection for the benefit of all our citizens. Wreckers hit Port of Spain roads today.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I'm totally against that. I don't care. It's too much of a hustle, and it's too citizen unfriendly.
Yep.
And anything is citizen unfriendly, I dare, and I will say so. And the justifications for bringing it back just don't seem sensible to me. Talking about if you have to exit town in a emergency, what, that some roads crowded or whatever. I didn't even understand the reasoning. I was trying to make sense of it. I didn't understand it.
Justification for a hustle, that's all.
Yeah, that's what
That's all.
So records hit Port of Spain roads today. And on the back page of the Daily Express, score to settle. Capital Boys and Army meet in KO final. Gardner still unbeaten, and Women Warriors clash with Aruba tonight. Newsday for today, the front page. Headlines. Cops story not adding up. Mother of 17-year-old shot by police. That's what she says. The main pictures of the police simulation. Members of the Port of Spain Municipal Police Unit perform a tactical simulation exercise during Mayor Chinua Allen's first quarterly inspection parade in front of City Hall, and it proves that they are ready to deal with the criminals in Port of Spain, or so has been said. Appeal court.
I don't know why your mic is cutting a bit. I'm losing air.
Yeah, you're getting a little distortion.
Are you hearing me clearly now?
Yeah.
I think it's sometimes when I put the papers, I think I'm interfering with something. Appeal court gives green light to TTRA. And on the back page, Defense Force hunt repeat. TTPFL champs chase double. AC Army clash and First Citizens final. And Scarborough and Mason Hall crown T20 champs. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning in the lovely Republic of Trinidad.
All right. Thank you so much, Richard Rich. Let's get the results for our morning poll, where we asked you yesterday, do you think Rushton Parry's United Patriots, plans to work with Michaela Pandey, Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front, for the general elections come 2025, if they are unsuccessful in the UNC's internal elections? That was our poll yesterday. I'll give you the results right after this.
Make or review your emergency plan. It is important to develop, review, and update your emergency plan for your home, workplace, or place of worship. When a crisis, an emergency, or a disaster strikes, have a plan for how you and your loved ones will respond to the crisis or get safely outdoors. If exit doors are compromised, how will you get out? What's your alternative exit? Designate a safe meeting point that can be easily accessible to all persons, even persons with physical disabilities. Does everyone know and understand the emergency plan? Do you know the evacuation plan and muster point for places that you visit regularly? Get together and speak about how you, your community, business, or place of worship would respond if a disaster occurs. Remember, everyone must be prepared, be secured, and be ready.
Shop Mega Mattress Deal for Mom at Furniture Plus. Get queen mattresses starting from just $699, plus up to 25% discount on bedding accessories. Hurry in today for these mega deals. Check the press and social media for details.
Experience innovation and innovative technology refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills at Genesco Appliances Limited. Discover the versatility of a dual-function chest freezer switchable between refrigeration or freezer modes, available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. Don't miss their unbeatable offer on the 13 kg twin-tub washers, and for the aspiring chefs, the 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with a built-in rotisserie oven. These specials won't last. Find Genesco Appliances on Facebook, Instagram, or give them a call at 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide. All right, the results of our morning poll we asked yesterday. Do you think Russian Paris United Patriots plans to work with Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front for the general election 2025 if they are unsuccessful in the UNC's eternal elections? 73% said yes. All right, let's get
That's
into
my
this
question
one.
to Paul.
Which is,
Do you think this is the beginning of the end for Kamala Prasad-Bissessa as leader of the
they're
UNC?
not asking that.
Why? The Russian Party and him said that? You afraid Kamala Prasad-Bissessa?
Must be.
Huh? Paul must be this.
Hold your question, though. Hold your question. All right. Paul.
The question I'm suggesting is, do you agree with the arrest of blogger Christopher Hugh of Chris Must List?
Okay. That was my second question. But
We'll go with that.
But since
All right. So there is our poll question. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp at 318-1021. All right. If you're watching us on television, you can WhatsApp us. All right.
June
Again,
16th, the last poll, right? No, June 17th. 15th is the internal election. The 17th is the morning of the by-election. So I might be able to ask it then. But I'll ask it. You had to ask that question. I'll wait until a day, not day.
All right.
Tell me when you want me to stay home.
Yeah. Gentlemen, let's stick with our poll. Do you agree with the arrest of blogger Christopher Hugh of Chris Must List? All right. That's our poll. Good morning to Captain Ron, who is in San Francisco. He says yes.
Richard, you're writing, right?
Yeah. Karen Yipnow, yes. Ian Lee, yes. Mogin says yes. What says you, caller?
Good morning to the Paul family. Good morning to the breakfast crew.
Morning,
that question is a double-edged sword. But no, I do not agree with his arrest. But it's a double-edged sword. All right, you guys stay safe.
All right, big guy. Thank you.
They may have inadvertently put that man's life at risk, you know.
Yeah. Val, morning, Val. Have a great weekend, Val. Says no. David Ware says yes. John Cato says yes. Mo Gaines out in Aruka says yes.
Ian Nualu Lee says yes.
Yeah, I did that.
You did that, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Yes, my answer is yes. He has powers of faith that we need to get our hands on. We need all his electronic devices to go through that.
All right. Thank you so much. I have Jaron Joseph. Jaron is saying yes. Trevor Arima says no. Ms. Bonnier West says no to the poll. Good morning, Ms. Bonnier West. I have, oh, okay. You're saying it's 42 degrees in Baghdad. Ugh. Right, let's see. We have some more votes here. Ooh,
Julia Batiste
says yes.
Lester Cragwell.
Okay. Karen Ipnow says yes. Lester Crigwell says no. DL says no. Vianney Warwood says yes. Khadijah Khan Jr. says no.
Kadim.
It's Kadim? Kadim, sorry.
Kadim
Cheryl
says
Henry
what?
is reminding us that there is no PTSC service come tomorrow and Friday. It's a public holiday.
Kadim says what?
Does not
Kadim Jr. says no.
work on a public holiday. Yeah. Cheryl Henry says yes. Carl M. Jack says no. What says you, caller?
No. Social media say he embarrassed the TTPS by knowing where the gangs are, but the police can't find gangs.
All right. Thank you. Michael Robinson out in Yokohama, Japan says no. Anthony Tinto in Ontario, Canada says no. All right. Do you agree with the arrest of blogger Christopher Hughes of Chris Must List? Black Pearl, good morning to you, Black Pearl. Have a great weekend. Says yes.
Paul, is it against policy to show some of his videos?
No.
Okay, maybe you could pull up one and show. You can't. Some of them have obscene in it.
Yeah, you have to vet it before you play it.
Yeah.
Using it for journalistic purposes.
True.
Mm-hmm.
We can have Richard bleep out the cursing. He is know when people discuss.
Good morning to Lorna. Good morning, Indy and Kali. No to the poll. Thank you.
But his TikTok only have 3,140 followers. How come?
Good morning, caller.
Morning. Salute.
Morning.
My answer is no.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's see. Slick Money Grip says no. Kenny out in Harlem, I say no to the poll. Jean-Claude says no.
You know Jacques Clark
says yes to the poll.
Steve, you know when you say Jacques Clark, that's a man. But if you say Jean Clark, that's a woman, right?
No, it's John or Jean, I don't know. Jean Clark then. Wayne B says no. Oscar Daniel says no. Wayne Joseph in Ontario, Canada says yes.
So, poll this morning, do you agree with the arrest of blogger Christopher Hugh from Chris Must List? Do you agree with his arrest? Well, or is he? Well, he's detained at least, not charged. Do you agree with his arrest or his detention? That's our poll this morning. Of course, if you are absolutely clueless, he was the vlogger who was doing a lot of the interviews with
Rich, you're going in and out again. I don't know what's
alleged gang members.
The buck under the table must be blocking the mic from the laptop.
So he was what is that?
Rich, you need to fix your mic.
Nothing is wrong with my mic. Aren't you hearing me?
I think it's when he leans back or something.
Anyway, so that's the person who was arrested. So do you agree with it? 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the streaming apps and stuff. You can use the messaging portal there. If you're watching us on television, on cable, via MeTV, you can WhatsApp us at 318-1021. 868-318-1021.
Yeah, some other votes there. Dave Myers from Ajax in Canada says no. Anderson Matthews says no. Ajax? Okay, yeah. I said Ajax. Well, Ajax is in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Ajax is in Amsterdam. Anthony Miguel says yes. Adonna Clark says no. Beauty Culture, I abstain. And Alice Sahad says no.
All right. Continue to vote. It's on our mobile app and on our website. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news, all powered by Genesco Appliances. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Court of Appeal rules TNT Revenue Act valid and unconstitutional. Canadian blogger and YouTuber Christopher Hugh of Christmas List is arrested by police officers and faces possible charges under the Anti-Gang Act and Immigration Act. Approximately 50 municipal police officers get ready to execute wrecking services from today, and U.S. tech firm fined for whites-only job posting. Details in a moment.
Of course, your 7 o'clock major news with Avison Hill Bab is being brought to you by Genesco Appliances. Experience innovation and inverted technologies, refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills at Genesco Appliances Limited. Discover the versatility of a dual-function chest freezers, switchable between refrigeration or freezer mode, available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. Don't miss their unbeatable offer on the 13 kg twin tub washers, and for the aspiring chefs, the 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with built-in rotisserie awaits. These specials won't last. Find them on Facebook and Instagram, or even give them a call at 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide.
This is News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel Bab. Good morning. Government has revealed that the Court of Appeal has ruled unanimously that the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Act is valid and constitutional and does not breach the rights of public officers. The finance minister, in a social media post on Tuesday, said the government can now move swiftly to improve and maximize revenue collection for the benefit of all citizens. According to the Revenue Authority's website, when operationalized, the TTRA will function as a semi-autonomous authority for building and transforming the national economy through strengthened management and collection of taxes and customs duties, as well as enhanced trade facilitation and border control. Public Services Association President Leroy Batiste says despite yesterday's ruling of the Court of Appeal on the legality of the TNT Revenue Authority, the union is prepared to move to the Privy Council to have their say in the matter. A Court of Appeal panel, which included Judges Nolan Bureau, Charmaine Pemberton, and Miradine Amora, yesterday dismissed the PSA's case after ruling that the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Act is valid and constitutional. This paved the way for Minister of Finance Com Imbert to move on with plans to fully establish the authority. In fact, he indicated that his plan to do so in a post on X is coming soon. Canadian blogger and YouTuber Christopher Hugh of Christmas List was arrested by police officers of the Special Investigations Unit on Tuesday morning and is facing possible charges under the Anti-Gang Act and Immigration Act. The Trinidad Express is reporting that senior law enforcement sources indicated that just after 6 a.m., Hugh was taken into custody by officers at a Flagstaff Long Circular home and questioned regarding several YouTube videos featuring interviews with different gang members from Tunapuna, Mova, La Hocata, Belmont, and Silots. Hugh had visited the Canadian Embassy on Monday seeking assistance and was told to contact attorney Kristen Williams for advice. The Express quoted a senior intelligence source as saying that he was arrested based on these videos brandishing firearms under the Anti-Gang Act. Over the last few weeks, Hugh posted videos to YouTube where he filmed different gangs who were allegedly sending subliminal threats to other gangs in those videos. He was said to be technically promoting the gangs and their ability to show their firepower to the other sides. Under the Anti-Gang Act, Section 8 states a person who knowingly A, counsels, B, gives instruction or guidance to, C, finances in any manner, or D, otherwise provides support to, counseling a gang leader, gang member, or gang in furtherance of its participation in, involvement in, or commission of a gang-related activity, commits an offense and is liable on conviction, on indictment, to imprisonment for 25 years. Senior police sources also allegedly said they discovered that men claiming to be members of gangs who were state witnesses under protective custody in criminal cases appeared in some of the recordings that Hugh streamed. Intelligence sources were said to have confirmed that Hugh's interview with officers at the SIU will continue today and are expected at some point to confer with the DPP Roger Gaspard on possible charges. He was questioned for several hours on Tuesday. Consideration was also being given to the laying of charges for breaches of offenses under the Immigration Act. They indicated that Hugh entered the country as a tourist for vacation rather than work activities. One of Hugh's attorneys, C.J. Williams, was contacted last night, and he reportedly told the Express that when they went to the police station, they were told that he was not under arrest, but they could not leave. Williams said a police officer who spoke to him said they could not guarantee Hugh's release yesterday. Approximately 50 municipal police officers have been trained in the proper way to exercise wrecking services from today. The announcement was made yesterday by Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen as the towing of vehicles resumes today in the capital city, having been stopped during the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking to the media after the Port of Spain City Corporation's annual statutory meeting at City Hall, Elaine said the 50 municipal officers went to a lecture on Monday hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Traffic Branch. He said the city police will be working in collaboration with the TTPS in the wrecking exercise as they have the facilities to work alongside them. He said the aim of the lecture was to remind the city police of their responsibilities under the law. Allen said that one of the things that the officers had to do was diligently seek to find the driver of the vehicle in the immediate vicinity before the vehicle is towed. But, quote, that does not mean that we spend an hour looking for the driver, end quote. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Further afield, the company whose job advertisement sought only white U.S.-born applicants has agreed to pay $38,500 in fine. The federal government says the advert from Arthur Grant Technologies was generated by a disgruntled recruiter in India and was intended to embarrass the company. The Justice Department said it was found to violate both federal civil rights and labor laws. Arthur Grant will pay $7,500 in civil penalties to the U.S. Treasury, as well as $31,000 in total compensation to people who file complaints over the incident. Chillum News is following the story.
An investigation by the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs determined that the company advertised for an open business analyst position in Dallas through a public online hiring site. It is shameful that in the 21st century, we continue to see employers using whites-only and only U.S.-born job postings to lock out otherwise eligible job candidates of color, said Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division in a release.
Straight into weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, initially sunny conditions will give way to a few periods of cloudiness and showers by afternoon. There's also a medium chance of isolated thunderstorm activity. Periods of showers and isolated thunderstorms will likely linger into the night. Street flooding and gusty winds are possible in the event of heavy downpours or thunderstorms. You can expect a temperature high of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently it's 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. Court of Appeal rules TNT Revenue Act valid and constitutional. Canadian blogger and YouTuber Christopher Hugh of Christmas List is arrested by police officers and faces possible charges under the Anti-Gang Act and Immigration Act. Approximately 50 municipal police officers get ready to execute wrecking services from today, and U.S. tech firm fined for whites-only job posting. I'm Avril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update coming your way at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Experience innovation and inverted technology refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills. At Genesco Appliances Limited, discover the versatility of a dual-function chest freezer switchable between refrigeration or freezer mode, available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. Don't miss their unbeatable offer on the 13 kg twin-tub washers, and for the aspiring chef, the 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with a built-in rotisserie oven. These specials won't last. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram or give them a call at 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide. Of course, your 7 o'clock major news was brought to you by Genesco Appliances.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All righty, thank you so much. Quickly, let's see what's happening on the highways. Oh, okay, highways and byways. It's getting a bit sticky going through Santa Rosa, Trinity UE, accident on Abercrombie Street. That's coming out of St. Joseph, and that is in the vicinity of Medical Associates. Out of Maraval, usual spots. Yeah, where you think you will get traffic, where you think you'll get traffic, you will get traffic. San Fernando, you're lighter. The Solo is pretty much clear. Yeah, until before you get to Carney Way, it's the 3, after Shoguanas is 3 lanes. So after Chief Brand, you'll pretty much get some traffic. All right. Okay, so let's get the results. Do we have any more votes? Let's see.
You have quite a few others there. On
I'm going up here now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anderson Matthew says no. Anthony Miguel says yes. Donna Clark says no. Oh, we did those already, so forget that.
Start from Royalty Forever.
We did Alistair Hart.
Yeah, we did Alistair Hart.
Royalty Forever says no. Adrian Cotto says no. Cohen Duke says no. Slick Money Grip. Okay, didn't say anything. All right, okay. Let me just check WhatsApp quickly. What is the video? Oh, I see what Cascade St. Anne's says no. And I have Vincent saying no, it's an embarrassing to Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. All right, so let's get the results of our morning poll.
Right, so our poll this morning, do you agree with the arrest of blogger Christopher Hugh from Chris Must list? We had 48 people voting on the poll this morning in the allotted time. Of the 48 people, 29 of you said no, and 19 of you said yes. So 29 said no, 19 said yes. So the noes have it. The noes are saying no, they disagree with the arrest of blogger Christopher Hugh of Chris Must list and the videos that he did with the gang members. I mean, I didn't watch those videos. I mean, I was way too busy. And of course, you have to say they are of alleged gang members. And so we'll see how the state deals with it.
Well, it was good acting if they're not alleged. Because the kind of threats that were being hurled on those videos. It was good acting. They did a lot better than the city police yesterday in front of Woodford Square.
All right. Is our guest online?
You see how apt the question would have been, my poll would have been today, Paul? Is this the beginning or the end of Kamala Prasad-Bissessa's reign as leader of the UNC? Because our guest coming up is what?
Give it 2 minutes.
A deputy political leader? Is that's the post she's contesting, I think?
I'm not sure. We'll ask her. Khadija Amin is our guest. I will also tell you guys that there's a biography coming out, the official biography, Manning, Faith, and Vision. And on Tuesday, we are going to chat with Hazel Manning and Brian Manning.
Beautiful.
All right, so we'll have them both on the program, and that's on Tuesday morning.
Beautiful. I may very well join that program that morning. 2 of my favorite people.
All right. Good morning to Ray Ray. Have a blessed long weekend.
Is not your favorite people to Paul? You're great. You're singing.
You're muted.
Your mic off. Your mic off. Okay, yeah.
I am the one who suggested the interview to Steve Khan.
I just made the call.
Very good. I'm proud of you.
But Patrick Manning did a lot for his country, you know.
You did use the word prevail the other day in one of your comments. I was so happy.
The word prevail is owned by somebody, you know?
I was overcome with joy when you said it. You said it with such conviction.
But since you haven't been overcome in such a long time, I'm glad to provide the service.
You know, you're right. You know, I've been undercoming. You're very right.
Lord Father, put a hand, yes. Corpus Christi. Happy Corpus Christi and happy Indian Arrival Day, everyone.
Yeah. If he's going on the road with prevail, anytime you have to say the word great, we have to watch out now too.
Yeah, but he said, you know, every now and then, he said, I hear him. He's just and look now, he's pretending to come to the defense of Kamala Prasad, but underneath that veneer, underneath that veil.
Great is the Power Breakfast Show. It shall prevail.
Oh, yes,
there you go, Richie Rich. There you go.
Oh, yes, it shall. Oh, good. Don't say that again with Khadija Amin on now. You'll get the girl vex.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Khadija.
Khadija, you heard it from Richard, not me.
I wasn't listening at that moment.
Okay, all right.
I will spare him today.
All right. Okay.
Good morning, Khadija.
Good morning, Khadija. How art thou?
Good morning. I'm good. I just came from a morning exercise walking in Savannah.
The chul hat on or it off? I know you make some wicked choker, you know.
Nah, boy. These days I have exams. I'm doing my law degree, so I had an exam yesterday.
Oh, congratulations! Very good.
Oh, Lord,
I ain't getting to cook these days, but a lot else cooking, a lot of heat elsewhere. So
you mustn't say things like Khadija. You must not say things like that in Paul's presence.
I like Paul. I'm talking the truth, eh?
Things are always cooking in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. Yes. So what's cooking on the morning breakfast this morning?
Well, you tell us. But we see that the UNC internal election is coming up on the 16th of June.
Yes.
That's basically 17 days away from now or
15,
so.
15.
15? Mm-hmm. May do have 30 days?
Friday.
The 15th is the election, and today is the 29th of May. So you had to check the extra days in May as well. So he's correct.
I was never good at math, so.
No, you're correct, Paul. You're correct. Don't let them pay them intimidate you inside there,
Paul. You know, he's a count, you know. He's a count.
Yeah. So we are a few days away. Less than
the Star team launched on Monday night.
Yes.
You are part of that team. Would you care to tell us who the team is for our audience who may not know?
Our three deputy political leaders are Julian John, Dr. Rudal Munilal, and Dr. David Lee. The chairman is David Tanku. The deputy chairman is Hamlin Jailal. And then we have several positions such as strategy officer, research, education officer. We have people like Sean Sobers, Ravi Ratiram, Saddam Hussein, several others who hold different various portfolios. We have regional representatives. The South Regional Rep is Shanti Budram. The Central Regional Rep is Vandana Mohit. And the Northwest Regional Rep is Eli Zakur. And I am the candidate for the Northeast Regional Rep.
Weren't you previously a deputy political leader?
Yes, I was a deputy political leader many years ago. Yes, in 2015, I became a deputy political leader. But my personal view is always that regardless of what position I hold, I serve. And I don't limit what I do only to my portfolio. So certainly I welcome the opportunity to work with the Northeast region because you're talking about the constituencies from St. Joseph in the east to Toko in the St. Joseph in the west to Toko in the east. And that is the Northeast region.
Who previously held that position?
Anil Roberts.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Why is Anil Roberts contesting
along
again?
with Anil Roberts, because he would have done some work, and others who have been working in those areas. And as you know, in that region, you have two of the most marginal seats in the country, the Tunapuna and St. Joseph. Sandy Grande is also quite marginal. So I look forward, because I have been doing work in this region. Remember, in the Sandy Grande region, the UNC won an additional seat, securing that regional corporation. We have made a lot of inroads.
Why did you all kick out Anil Roberts then?
Anil Roberts not kicked out. Anil Roberts actually is the coordinator for St. Joseph constituency. So I think he will of course continue to work in the region, but focus on the St. Joseph constituency, which is a very key constituency. And he still continue to work with the party. He is a senator, so he's not kicked out at all. Wendell, don't try them kind of.
No, well, you just said that you made gains in the Sangre Grande area and so on, and it was under the purview of Anil Roberts, not so?
Oh, certainly, but
So
no, I
kick
was
him out.
speaking in terms of my own experience, having worked in the local government campaign in the Sandy Grande region.
All right.
But Anil Roberts certainly remains a very valuable member of our team. He, as the coordinator for St. Joseph, he has been keeping the UNC alive in St. Joseph, keeping Terence Delsing on his heels, so to speak, both in the parliament as well as on the ground. They have had a lot of engagement with the membership, when I say residents of that area, in terms of
he will no longer be part of the executive of the UNC.
He's not on the national executive anymore, but he is also a senator. He is also, and as I say, as a coordinator, a valuable part of the team. So he's not going anywhere, if that's what you're asking.
No, I'm just, I'm being mischievous too at the same time.
Yeah.
But this election was finally announced after quite a bit of, I'll describe it as turmoil, with some persons suggesting the election may not have been held. The political leader of the UNC staying resolute and indicating that, well, no one ever said that. The team led by, or some of the team led by Rushton Perry, advocating strongly for the election to be held. The date was finally called. Mr. Parry presented his team over the weekend. The other team, can I call it the political leaders team? Would that be correct?
It's the star team.
The star team.
She has endorsed the team.
Yes, and at the launch, in her address at the launch, she indicated why. And I think it is about the policies of the UNC and the policies of various teams. And if there are people who express that they do not support certain key policies of the UNC, then how can the leader who strongly advocate for those policies go in to a general election with a team who does not support those policies? So I think it is about focusing on policies that will become government policies when we go into government, in terms of reducing crime, improving education in the country, improving healthcare, and that kind of thing.
Hold on.
Why is it in the internal elections, and specifically in this one, because just watching it play out, and for a lot of citizens who are not, of course, part of the UNC or part of the PNM, but not part of the UNC, but just looking on and seeing the infighting to a certain degree. Now, if you have a democratic institution, which is what parties are supposed to be, and of course the UNC has a one-man, one-vote mantra that they always talk about in terms of the internal elections, why is there seem to be so much vitriol in the democratic process? Because it's simply people vying for different points of views in terms of the membership.
Right. So I think what happened is that you had a lot of people, even I myself, as a person who works very hard in the party and in my constituency and so on, feeling rather offended that people would go into the public domain and bring the party into disrepute by making allegations or making it appear as though the UNC did not intend to call the internal elections when it was due, that they were somehow suppressing democracy. And when there are ways to deal with that within the party. So I think that was the first misstep of some of those participating by going out into the public domain and giving the impression that they were somehow being prevented from participating in a democracy. Also that they were indicating that the UNC is weak. And the truth is, many of those persons have not been involved in the local government efforts, in the other election efforts where the UNC gained ground. And so they would not even be aware of some of the things. They were, for instance, when they were going out saying that there were arms of the party that were not working, when we have activities in those arms of the party and they don't come, they don't show up, they don't participate, they don't help plan or organize or mobilize or anything. So I don't know if they were saying that out of their own ignorance because they simply didn't know about those activities, or if it were some malicious intent by them. However, I think the political leader maintained that elections will be called when they were due. The last election was held, I think, on the 26th of June. This one is on the 15th of June. So the election is actually 2 weeks before the anniversary of the last one. But to go out in the public domain months before, without having any kind of conversation with the national executive or the leadership of the party, expressing your concern. Maybe somebody told you that the election might be postponed and you are concerned, no problem. But there are ways to deal with that. And now as we go in, our star team's focus is on the policies of the UNC, where it pertains to reducing crime. What is the UNC's position on crime, education, health, reviving the economy? That is our focus, and not on, in terms of the detractors and the detractors. I have worked within the party in terms of building the party's arms, strengthening the party, being in every part of the country. And I remember there was a time many years ago, my family would tell me, if you're going to take a maxi on the bus route, don't put on your UNC jersey. Put your jersey in your bag, and when you reach where you're going, put on your jersey, because UNC was not acceptable on the East-West corridor. Now it is. Now we could go to Mova, any part of Tunapuna, any part of the East-West corridor, for Port of Spain and so on, and the UNC is welcome. And I think the UNC has done a lot of significant work. But the internal elections have been kept on time since Kamla Prasad-Bissessar became leader in 2010. Every time we have had internal elections for the national executive, for the leadership of the party, as well as for
We lost her temporarily. I want to challenge Khadija on something she just said about the UNC not being welcomed anywhere else. I don't know that is the style of our politics. Any party can go anywhere in this country, as far as I'm aware. I don't know that we have had a problem with any party going anyway, any district. I don't know that at all. So for her to suggest that you have to take off your UNC jersey when you're going down the bus route, I don't know that we have had that kind of history at all in Trinidad and Tobago with our politics. So I want to challenge her on that when we get her back.
Okay, I'm back, guys.
Yeah. Khadija, I was saying whilst we lost you, that I want to challenge you on the issue of UNC, people in the UNC having to put away the jersey when they're driving on the East-West corridor.
No, that's personal experience, Wendell. That's just my personal experience.
Oh, because I don't know that we have had that kind of history in our politics anyway.
No, it was not that. Oh, well, let me put some context for you. I started campaigning in the youth arm of the UNC at the age of 17, but just out of school. And it was because, as I say, there was this perception that the UNC was not as acceptable. That is something that would have happened. That would have been back in those days, and particularly as a young person and a young woman. But I think we have grown way past that in terms of the UNC's acceptability on the East-West corridor in particular, and for me, and that is my personal experience.
Khadija, you just outlined quite a bit of your perspective, and I guess your team's perspective on what had transpired leading up to the announcement of the election, and you said persons who went into the public domain. The public, from what I see, looked at it and said, there's a lot of dysfunction going on here. there's a lot of vitriol being thrown one way or the other. And this is a party that's lost 2 general elections and is asking the population heading to 2025 to consider the UNC to govern the country. How do you think this is playing out from the public perception perspective? Do you think this dysfunction is helping the UNC to position itself as a real alternative for governance of this country?
Well, I wonder if dysfunction is sweeping your differences under the carpet or allowing your party to have open democracy. To me, allowing the party to be very democratic, to have one man, one vote, to have all our internal elections on time, and even in the eyes of the media and so on, to me, that is a very healthy thing for the internal democracy of the party. There are other political parties that have elections and you don't hear about it. You don't hear, a lot of what goes on. And perhaps if you did, you would recognize dysfunction. So I would not call the UNC having a democratic process dysfunctional at all. When we speak about losing elections, you also have to be balanced. It has become a rhetoric of other persons outside of the UNC about the UNC losing elections. The truth is that the UNC has also made significant inroads. In the last local elections, how many seats did the PNM lose? How many votes did the PNM lose? You have seen an increase in the votes for the UNC, and it is a very small margins that would have separated us. For instance, in St. Joseph, the UNC lost by 800 votes. So it was not a significant, that enough amount for the PNM to feel comfortable at all. And I think the attempt to divide the UNC is part of the PNM strategy. But I think people in this country really have to think beyond UNC and PNM. They have to think about themselves, their children. What is best? What is best for me? What is best for me when I'm sick and I need to go to the hospitals? Which is the government that provides better healthcare? Which is the government that provides better for our children in education? When you have schools that have been built under the last government and cannot be opened after 9 years, when you have children who should be getting laptops, not getting laptops. It's not just, it's also about you. What do you want? Do you want your children and grandchildren to get laptops in school or not? And I think those are things that we have to start looking at. And the media also has to encourage that level of discussion and saying, repeating, being careful not to repeat the PNM's propaganda about, dysfunction and lost election and so on. The truth is we have to go beyond that and look at what's best for our country.
Put a pause there. Why is saying that the UNC lost the general election in 2015 and 2020 rhetoric and propaganda? How?
Because the PNM also lost the THA, the PNM also lost a regional corporation, the
Right,
PNM
but we're talking about
regional corporation seats.
general
But we
election.
don't hear you talking about that as much.
That's not true. That is not true. That is not true. That is an incorrect statement.
Yes, we do.
That is an incorrect statement.
I think beyond that, what we have to look at is the policies of the various political parties and what results out of it. Does the policies of Kamla Persad-Bissessar cause more jobs to be created and therefore less young people are left vulnerable to the gangs? Do we have in terms of school dropouts and why children drop out of schools? That is a situation that is very alarming, where you have over 2,000 students dropping out of school and no one can account for them. Those are things we have to be very careful on, because you are speaking about the next generation. And if our young people in school are in schools that are dysfunctional, because you have fights every day, because you have weapons in the schools and drugs, and teachers cannot teach because they don't have this appropriate furniture, when school is being dismissed because the sewer system is not working, and our children are not getting the quality of education that they deserve, then how can they contribute meaningfully to the national economy?
But those things happen under the UNC too, Khadija. Those things are happening under the UNC.
Well, I really don't want to argue with you based on that. I really want us to look at the figures. So let's look at the number of school dropouts over the years, and then we'll have a discussion. It really is alarming. And one of the things that was also of concern to me.
Yeah. Two things I want to touch on, Khadija, before I forget. Yeah. You mentioned just now about the UNC and the PNM being the only choices. Now we have a choice of the Patriotic Front, who would have launched recently. How do you respond to the comment of Michaela Pandey that she made all efforts by climbing through Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's window and waking up in the middle of the night to reconcile with her? How do you respond to a statement like that?
I am not in a position to respond to that.
So is it that how do you share the view of the UNC that they don't want nothing to do with any Pandey? Because that's what Michaela Pandey said.
Who said that?
Okay. No. Well, what I know, Kamla Prasad Bisessa has said, and she has indicated this on more than one occasions, that we have been willing to partner, not just in words. We have done it on numerous occasions before. When terms of partnerships take different forms. In 2010, we had a partnership government with 5 individual political parties. In subsequent elections, you also had sharing, where you had different political parties agreeing to contest on the local elections, for instance, on different tickets. But you also had instances where we had sharing of seats, and we do have discussions on those things. We do continue to meet other political parties who are working with us, working with the UNC. And there are those who would leave their political party and become incorporated in the UNC. And there are those who retain their political identity and continue to work hand in hand with the UNC. So the UNC has been very clear that we will continue to be willing to work with partners, and partners, not just political partners, but stakeholders, because there are stakeholder organizations who represent interests in Trinidad and Tobago that have an impact on national society, on the economy, on jobs and other things, who are willing to have talks with political parties, because you recognize that political parties shape the future in terms of the policies they adopt. And I think it's healthy for any political party to have that type of stakeholder engagement, because it improves their policy. So, for instance, the leader of opposition has been having these crime talks. And what you see publicly is part of it. But also in the background, you will have people who are retired police officers, for instance, neighborhood watch groups, people who have backgrounds in security, who would come forward and offer their suggestions, make written submissions. And those things are very valuable. And so partnership is not just about political parties, it is also about stakeholders and citizens. And I think the UNC has a track record of engaging, at various levels.
So the UNC will have no problem working with Patriotic Front?
As I said, the UNC has a track record of working with political parties and stakeholders, and we continue.
So they will have no problem working with Patriotic Front.
We continue to have.
I suppose the question could be, Wendell, is there any concern in the United National Congress that one of the descendants of the founding of that party has now formed another party that can rival you potentially in terms of the base, the natural base of the UNC, in terms of the Patriotic Front? Is there any concern?
Well, I have outlined to you our policy in terms of engagement and partnership. But the UNC continues to work in preparing in all the seats for the upcoming general election, and whatever work we do will be shared with our partners. So when we reach that time, when we confirm our partners, we will share more with you. All right?
You said all the seats. Does that include Tobago?
There are 41 seats to be contested in the general election. So when the time reach, based on our arrangements with our partners, we will express more to you. At this time, our objective is in terms of national policy, in terms of exposing the PNM and a lot of their wrongdoing.
Who's your partner in Tobago? TPP or PDP? Who's your partner in Tobago?
When the time comes, we will share with you in terms of our partnerships.
So in terms of the elections, just explain something to me. So there's a star slate and there's Mr. Parry's slate. and their individual positions.
There are other individuals as well, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Is it that there can be a combination of people who win, or is it a slate that wins? How does it work?
No, it's individual positions are contested, and for each position, the person who gets the most votes in those positions win. When you work together as a slate, you are stronger because you show unity of purpose. But it is individual positions. For all the positions for deputy political leader, for instance, if no matter how many contestants you have, the 3 persons with the 3 highest votes become the 3 deputy political leaders. So it is the individual votes that count.
So potentially you could end up in the Natex working with persons from another slate.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And it's not only slate. The start team is one team, but you also have individuals who are not part of a slate who also would could come on the national executive based on that. So as I say, it really is, it's open for the membership to decide, the membership to choose. We have voting at every constituency. There is 1 polling station in each constituency, and persons who are financial members can vote in this internal election. The elections committee, I believe they made announcements. They would have sent out public releases to indicate when you can go to the headquarters to check, to see if your name, to confirm that your name is on the list. And we in St. Augustine, we are voting at the St. Augustine South Community Center, and every constituency will be notified in terms of where they will vote. The voting is on Saturday, the 15th of June. Yeah.
Understood. You have a position called Tobago coordinator for Tobago. Do you have polling stations in Tobago?
Yes, we do. We always do. Every internal UNC internal election, we do have a polling station there. We have presiding officer and the full works. So we do have a membership in Tobago who would vote as well. And they can vote for all the positions, not just the Tobago rep. They could vote for every position that is being contested.
Understood. Okay. So why then? Go ahead, guys.
Do you, based on what your comments earlier, when you said that the perception was that persons went and spoke in the public about issues that may have been internal, sharing different perspectives, and you also indicated that some may not have been working behind the scenes as they should. Please correct me if my interpretation is wrong.
They went against party policy. That's what you said.
How party policy, and they've been advocating different policies toward the political leader, and the present executive, I guess, have been articulating for years as the UNC policy. How do you think this scenario will affect their chances if they present themselves? Because the Natex is, who I'm presuming, chooses candidates for the upcoming election. If there'll be any effect of what has transpired on their eligibility to be chosen, for example, Mr. Parry or Ms. Haynes-Allen, moving forward.
Well, the screening committee is separate from the national executive. The national executive will approve the screening committee, of course, but it is the screening committee that will make those decisions when that time comes. So it is for every person who has filed nomination to be a candidate in the general election to convince the screening committee why they are the best choice for that constituency. But more than that, it is about the team of candidates that we present at the general election that is to be the next government. And so in terms of people's background, people want to see who will be my next Minister of National Security. Am I looking at Fitzgerald Hines? People want to see that. So I think it's important for the UNC to present a slate that has competence from different backgrounds. So for instance, I'll tell you, we have 3 doctors who are MPs, Dr. Rishi Sicharan, Dr. Lakram Bodo, and have been very instrumental. Recently, we had a motion on public health in the parliament. And you can see from them when they present, this is a minister of health in the waiting. And I think the public wants to see that. This could be my next minister of local government. This could be my next minister of agriculture.
The constitution is not only representation in constituencies, it's also potential for ministerial positions.
Oh, certain. I think so. And I think that is what the public looks forward to. So you want to have persons who are grounded in the constituency, but also in terms of in terms of forming the next government. So
you went through
I
screening
those are
already,
things.
obviously, because you're
Those
an
are-
MP now. You went through
Yes.
screening because you're familiar with the process. Will issues that have transpired in the last couple of months come up for questions in terms of the screening process?
Well, that will depend on the screening committee. Members of the screening committee can raise, it's an interview. So members of the screening committee can raise any matter that they want to get clarification on or to allow the person to expand. But it is really for the nominee when they go in there to be screened to express themselves in terms of, because it is like a job interview. So in terms of what your best qualities are and those type of things, it is for that person to do themselves justice in that interview. So when the screening committee meets, it is individual. You are not screened all together. You meet on a one-on-one basis. So I think that is also a good thing to allow.
So let me be the one to answer this question. Sorry, Richard. Let me just get this out of the way. Let me be the one to answer this question. So your recent incident in Tunapuna, if that comes up, can you answer and say that's none of your business? Or is it that you are required to be transparent then?
It is for individual candidates who are being interviewed to determine how they want to present themselves, their qualifications, their involvement in the party, whatever it is, and how they wish to answer or share information with the screening committee. So this is why I say when you ask about certain individuals, it is for that individual to make the best of the screening that they are present when they go before the screening committee. So whatever it is, the ball is really in the court of the nominee in terms of how they present themselves and what information they choose to share. If you are having a conversation with somebody, they could be very yes or no in their answers, or they could expound on certain things that would highlight their talents, why they are an asset to the party, why they would be an asset to the government when the UNC becomes in government. So those are things that any candidate would want to share with the screening committee in terms of what gives them why they should be the choice. You really go before the screening committee to tell them why you should be the party's choice to candidate in that constituency. But I can tell you too that
have nominations closed?
Yes, nominations have closed. Nominations closed in sometime in March, I believe. I submitted my nominations and along with several others. So yeah.
You have combatants in the Tunapuna area now for St. Augustine seat. Do you have anybody who also sent in a nomination?
Well, I will know that on screening day when I go there, according to.
Khadija.
But I have always.
Khadija. Are you willing to take some calls, Khadija? You willing to take some calls?
Sure.
Okay.
Khadija is the leader of the opposition, a member of the screening committee.
Of course, the leader of the party must be there. Yeah.
Because I always have this problem with Wendell. I brought up this conversation with Wendell previously with the People's National Movement, that it's, to me, and this could be my jaded view, that it always will be whom the political leader wants. So you could.
But there is a screening committee. But Richard, the other thing is, do you in any political party say that the leader of the party should not have a say in who their candidates are? Are you going to tell Dr. Rowley that he should not select candidates for the PNM in the next election? I mean, it's practical that a political leader must be involved.
Yeah, I could say that being involved, but if the screening committee has decided, okay, we prefer this candidate, my point is the political leader can override and say, no, I don't want that candidate.
Well, what I can tell you...
Not so? Am I wrong?
What I can tell you is that Kamla Prasad-Bissessa is one of those very democratic people. And sometimes I think the democracy works against her sometimes. But she always remains very open to allowing people to have a say in terms of choices, even for selection of councillors, selection of chairmen of regional corporations and so on. She allows discussion. She allows people who are not even on the screening committee to make recommendations, give their thoughts, and so on. I think that is a very positive thing about her as a leader, allowing people to have that input, you know.
Why is the STAR team a better choice for NATEX than is it United Patriots?
I'm not sure the name of the other fellas, but the STAR team of which I am a part, I think what we have to look at is the policies of the STAR team. In terms of our policies for the UNC, in terms of building the party, that is one aspect, but we also have to look at the aspect of policies of the STAR team that will become policies of the government when the UNC goes into government. So it's twofold. For me, I think the members of the STAR team have a good track record within the party in terms of performing. And there's a lot that takes place in the background that may not be highlighted, may not be on the stage in terms of party building, in terms of membership, in terms of keeping the various arms of the party functioning and keep having activities of the party. And those things have been taking place, and many of our members have been involved in that. But beyond just the normal function of the party, it's also expanding the boundaries of the UNC, expanding the boundaries to geographically in terms of making inroads in certain constituencies, but also in terms of socially engaging stakeholders who may never have interacted with the UNC, engaging them in a meaningful way. And we do have members of our slate who have a track record from being in government as well as their party work and their history in the party.
Khadija, I want to go back to my question.
Just some calls, gentlemen.
Just now, Steve, Khadija, I just wanted to go back to that question that I asked you with regard to the constitution of the UNC. Let's go down the theoretical road that United Patriots makes up the most of the NATEX executive, that makes up the most of the executive, national executive of the UNC. They become the majority of the screening committee. And the leader has already indicated that she had endorsed a previous party, a previous slate that did not make up the majority. And that majority of the United Patriots then becomes the screening committee majority and selects certain people. In the constitution of the UNC, can the leader override their selection? That's where I was going.
The decision for candidates rests in the screening committee. As for who will comprise the national executive, we shall see after the 15th of June.
You're still not answering, Richard. Can the leader, despite all what the NATEX and the screening
the decisions of candidates rest with the entire screening committee. The leader is a member of the screening committee.
So the leader cannot override the screening committee or NATEX?
The decisions lie with the screening committee, of which the leader is a member.
All right, we have
Wendell, would you, within the PNM?
Don't bring the PNM in this.
I want to ask you PNM.
You know why? Because under Mr. Manning, he and Dr. Rowley fell out bad, and Dr. Rowley was still a candidate. So don't bring the PNM in this.
I think we have some calls waiting, so let's take the calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
0.3 MP. I want to highlight the issue under the Ramjatri faction. The one person that would have won under Mr. Pandey's slate would have been Dr. Rudal Munilal. He's now a deputy political leader in the party. So if you look at it, there is incorporation. But in terms of how you're going to work, I don't know how that is going to be. We know that tends to be adversarial. So history will point and show you that there is incorporation in terms of the UNC. My question, though, to the MP here is one. There were 13,000 voters you would have got in terms of the last election. Previously, you would have 20-something thousand plus. You would have had the motion. The question is, do you expect a high turnout? One. Number two, there's a lot of things in the USC when it comes to, in terms of how you are dealing with issues. There are a number of persons who are saying from 2015, even 2020, there were no post-mortem in terms of how you lost the election. If you are continuing with the incumbent, because the three political leaders who have offered, deputy political leaders who are offering themselves, they are the incumbents. And if you haven't put any policy and strategies in place, and the policies isn't working, because I want to point out to you, you are not captivating the majority of the populace to win the seats, to win the majority. Yes, you are getting numbers, but you are not getting a majority. That's my second question. My third question, when you talk about you have young people being incorporated to the UNC, can that be as tokenism in the instance that I'm using you as an example here? You, Saddam Hussein, and Benjamin, even Anita Haynes, what in terms of you beholden to the leader. In one instance, we are seeing one person not, but where triage is beholden to the leader in terms of where you are using tokenism as a leadership. Because we all know that, God forbid, under Mr. Park, if those who lost, they are not going to be returned in terms of returning to the seats. Persons who have seats in terms of Ms. Haynes and Mr. Parry, they are not going to get back their seat for 2025. That is not going to take place, and history have proven that to us in our adversarial politics. I love to know listening.
Yeah.
All right. He was breaking up a bit, but one of the things that I think he is raising is in terms of the incorporation of persons who may not be part of the start team if they win their position on the national executive. And he's quite right. In 2010, the only person from Mr. Pandey's slate to win a position was Dr. Rudal Munilal, and he became a deputy political leader. And he worked with the political leader and the rest of the team. And I think it is really up to each individual candidate in terms of how they perform after. Do you go in there to mash up the place, or do you go there to cooperate and work with the others who are there? But I think we will cross that bridge when we reach to June 15th, and we'll see who wins what in what position. But my focus is on the next general election. He also raised an issue about somebody told him that it didn't have a post-mortem or something. Well, first of all, I would like to call it a review. The person who would tell you that is somebody who was either not aware or not involved. But the truth is that in terms of reviewing the performance of the UNC at various intervals, whether it is for elections or outside of elections, even when we do have events, we do have reviews, and people are welcome to have their opinions and their input when that is concerned. And I think a lot of people who are in the public domain claiming that the UNC does not have certain things, does not have a strategy team, doesn't have they talk about, for instance, manifesto and policies and so on, are people who do not participate. We do have certain MPs who don't participate in every party activity. So they will not know that these things happen. And sometimes when things happen, they don't know how it happens. So it is every person, the onus is on them to get involved, to be involved in our planning. We have planning committees who deal with various issues. We have events committees, we have legislative committees, we have policy committees that deal with different things. We have people who have shadow portfolio, who have to make recommendations to the party on policy, on our position in the parliament, on every bill, and some people participate, some people do the work themselves, some people just pass it off to their research officer. People have different ways.
I think we have other calls. I think we have other calls waiting, Khadija.
Sure.
So we should just
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. That question that Wendell was asking, that question is so true. I don't want to say anything, but that happened on more than one occasion where the leader would have say, hey, no, this is how we're going, on more than one occasion. So that is what Ms. Amin is saying there. I think that is not totally, it's not totally true. The leader.
Caller, I don't want to wait until you go to share this with you. What I said is that the screening committee decides on the candidates, and the leader is a member of the screening committee. So the decisions that come out are the decisions of the screening committee.
Well, what I'm saying is the decision was not made by the screening; it was made by the leader, not by the.
Well, unless you are a member of the screening committee, you're not in a position to say that, right?
Are you part of the screening committee?
All right. Thank you, caller.
The screening committee has not yet been selected.
Were you previously part of a screening committee?
Yeah, but I think we still have other calls waiting.
And particularly for the last local government elections, because I work with our councillors in terms of local government, shadowing local government. So yes,
Let's say the call.
Okay, Khadija, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We have come to our time.
Oh yeah.
We do appreciate you taking the time off your busy
shadow box,
schedule of exercising and studying.
You move, you do all
And
kinds
You
of
know what?
things.
I want
I'll get you that
Peter
bake for
come
sure.
in there as a guest interviewer, so I could ask Wendell about the PNM business. You know, all these things Wendell has been asking about UNC business.
I just talk PNM business on the radio all the time. Ask Paul and Richard.
Well, I'm really happy to be part of your show this morning, and you know I have a special love for the Power Breakfast family. So I want to wish you all a fantastic day ahead.
Happy in your arrival day. Happy Corpus Christi to you.
To you.
All right, Khadija.
Thank you, Khadija Amin, for being with us.
You all have a great weekend. Be safe, everyone.
All right. I want to say happy. I want to say happy.
So you can end with your play. Folks, have an absolutely wonderful and safe holiday weekend. It's a long weekend. Be careful on the roads, right? Anyway, let me hush my mouth. And look out for the young ones, and remember to let go and let God. Now, Richard.
Right. So I want to say happy Corpus Christi to all the people celebrating Corpus Christi tomorrow, and of course, happy Indian Arrival Day for celebrating Indo Trinidadians' arrival to the country and the contribution to the country. So happy Indian Arrival Day and happy Corpus Christi. It's 2 holidays, and of course, we love the fact that it's 2 holidays that fall on the same day that give us Friday. So we love that.
Of course, we love it.
All right.
Have a wonderful long weekend. So have a fantastic long weekend. Of course, theaters on next week, Saturday and Sunday. Not next week, Saturday. It's next week, Saturday in Tobago. Love is a walk in Shore Park.
Nice.
See you there.
All right. Let's get into 8 o'clock.